Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hey, welcome to yet another show of Lynn Cullen Still Live. It's April 28th. The calendar tells me it's Tuesday. I have no other reason to know that. And that means my sister Susan should be on the line. Hi, Suze.
Yeah, by the grace of Goddess, because I remembered it was Tuesday too.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, no more me reminding you, because it's always news to me too.
No, I mean, it did occur to me. It wafts in and out of the knowledge of what day it is.
Well, somebody was saying, I think there's an article somewhere today that I didn't read but passed over, that, people are getting mixed up about what day it is, because the whole sense of time, the reason we have, senses of time is just that everything's gone. We don't have schedules anymore.
Well, some of us don't have schedules. Other people have schedules that are so totally jammed with things that other people used to do for them while they're still having to do what they do. See, you and I are looking at it from the old lady perspective. I think if you would look at it from, for example,
your son. I talked to them last night, and I saw, I mean...
you're on their hit list. They are so cute.
Well, I got to tell you, as, the evening draws nigh, and you're thinking, what am I going to do tonight? And then you get a FaceTime call from Chicago, and when the picture comes up, there is this hysterically funny 2-year-old. Is she even 2?
No, she's not 2 yet, but you're absolutely right. That's what she is.
God, she's funny. I mean, you could put that on, a constant feed. Susan has the most expressive, funny sort of out there. She's not even 2.
No,
she's talking in these full sentences. She's a riot. I mean, what she says is a riot, and she's. So I was laughing and laughing, but it's clear that there's 2 parents, both still working or trying to, with 2 children at home to educate, right? And feed and write. If there was ever anyone who helped them with any of the household chores, that's all gone. And so, right, it's just like a lot of...
Well, in their case, mostly it's just the child care that has disappeared, which allowed them to do everything else.
Yeah.
But and really young children, I have to say, distance learning is not exactly made for young children.
It doesn't work. And I was talking to my neighbor in the backyard yesterday, and they have, I can't tell, the kid looks to be about 3 or 4. And they were saying that his preschool has this he can talk to his teacher and this and that on, and it didn't work at all. He was totally not, into that. That was not something that for him was like going to his school. So that doesn't work at all. No,
I mean, some kids can, some kids can't.
Yeah.
And the most important thing to remember for children that age is that everybody's children that age is reacting exactly the same way. They'll all be in the same place, and it will be dealt with.
Exactly.
So I really think that the nicest thing that parents can do to each other is pat themselves on the back, say, I know you're doing the best you can. I forgive you. Go ahead, watch some television. I need a half an hour. It's just fine, I promise. Everybody's going to come out a rocket scientist. I know, I did it with my son, and that's what he is.
What the fuck was that?
I'm just saying, people...
Well, I'm just saying, we were talking about optimism and pessimism. Now, there was an optimistic take. they're all going to be rocket scientists after this?
No, but if they were going to be rocket scientists before, they're going to be rocket scientists after.
Yeah, but let's also note that this is really hurting the kids who come from homes that didn't have a lot of,
it's hurting everybody.
The resources,
children.
But children of single mothers who still have to work, or people who don't have the resources that some of us do.
Well,
I don't know.
That's
it
why
ain't
this
equal.
opening up of the country before opening up of child care happens is so, I don't know, the only word that I can think of comes to mind from our president. It's nasty. It's just nasty, because when you open up business, then employees must show. If they don't show, there's no benefits. So they have to choose between going to work and leaving what? Leaving their children? What is the option here? This is the most cynical thing that I've ever seen. Getting people to demand that they open up so that their own benefits are cut off. This is the most cynical thing I have seen the Republicans do yet.
Yeah.
But there they go.
Yeah, there they go. We talked about that last week, about what's really going on here. And it is a desire by, the governor of Georgia and all these other early states to get people off the unemployment rolls. And because they can't, and throw them back into a situation where they've got to go to work. And decide whether they want to live or whether they're going to safeguard their children.
To be part of the herd, and they either survive and and have some immunity, or they die. Oh well.
Hey, here's a little piece of good news that happened. It has nothing to do with coronavirus, but has to do with education. I was so gratified to see this. I remember there was a lawsuit by some kids in some New England state where they sued the school system, saying that they weren't being educated properly, and that suit, I guess, didn't go anywhere. But listen to this one. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit has ruled that the state of Michigan has been so negligent toward the educational needs of students in Detroit that children had been literally, quote, deprived of access to literacy, the foundational skill that allows Americans to function as citizens, and in violation of the 14th Amendment. That came as a result of a class action suit by students in Detroit public schools. And they won at this level. Now, when the lawsuit was brought, Rick Snyder, the Republican Flint water governor, was the governor. So they were suing Rick Snyder, the governor. He's no longer there, and has been replaced by a Democrat, Gretchen Whitmer, that woman, as Trump calls her. And she now has to decide whether to appeal this. Her instincts are not to.
What was the remedy suggested by the court?
Oh, I don't know. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't see it here.
That would seem to be an important part.
Yeah. Of course, this can be appealed to the
well, it can
Supreme
be,
Court.
but not if the governor decides not to.
Here it is. It is not yet clear what remedies will be considered in the Detroit case. Why, I don't know. In February, another lawsuit over the right to literacy brought in California led to a relatively modest settlement of $53 million, which the state will dole out to 75 low-performing schools. So the Detroit...
that's the remedy. The remedy
is Detroit ruling did not wade into a major debate within the education world about which methods are most effective in teaching children to read. So whatever, they just the ruling just says, you know, this is a violation of these kids' constitutional rights. And it was a 2-1.
Well, I have to say, state legislatures for years and years and years have seen educational budgets as a place to take money from. So if I go back to when I knew what I was talking about, to the state of Missouri, they have a public school funding formula that has never once, since it came into existence, been fully funded by its own rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm sure that is the norm.
Yeah.
So until we can convince our taxpayers to either change the way we fund our schools and stop attaching it to property tax and then keeping that tax within a district so that rich people get good schools and poor people get bad schools.
You can't come up with a more absurd and unegalitarian system.
Let's suggest that again. The pandemic has given us once again
a chance,
an opportunity.
Right.
It has blown it up. So maybe we can figure out a more equitable way to do this, because this way we know, no matter how many times we play, no matter how many times we tweak, the rich districts have everything they want, and the poor districts can't teach their kids to read.
Oh, but President Trump has said that the state should seriously consider reopening the schools before the end of the academic year. So when?
Yeah,
next
because
week?
Here's the I read this and I was just mystified. They're doing it because the children don't get sick or don't get very sick. But it doesn't mean that they don't get it, and it doesn't mean that they aren't running home, little darlings, and giving it to their parents who will die, and their grandparents who will die. What part of that don't they understand?
Oh, God. I know, Susan, I don't want you to get all upset soon
I know. I've
in the program.
My blood pressure medication. This is always a good test.
All right. Let's just try to breathe.
I'll try to be calm.
Okay, I found this story, and it made me laugh, sort of. And I want to come to the defense of the guy who has now lost his job as a result of something he did on a Zoom meeting that was, of course, witnessed by everybody. This was a Zoom meeting of the City Planning Commission in Vallejo, California. Okay, and one of the commissioners was. This is 2 hours into the meeting, was trying to say something about something that he had wanted to express an opinion about, and a cat could be heard meowing loudly. And he tried to start up again, and the cat meowed loudly. And so the guy, the commissioner, his name is Chris Platzer, said, okay, wait, first, I'd like to introduce my cat, and then all of a sudden on his little square, there is a cat being held by Mr. Platzer, and I'd like to introduce my cat, so everybody saw a cat for a second, and then they saw the cat disappear very quickly as Mr. Platzer threw the cat out of the frame, right? And you could hear somewhat of a thud. That's the cat.
Well, everybody throws cats.
Yeah, I just want to say,
they land on their feet.
Wait a minute. I was thinking I have thrown my cat. In anger. It is true. It's I only would do it in anger.
It's all treasured thing to do. I'm sorry.
It wasn't. I've never killed a cat throwing it, but and nor was this
cat injured. You might not throw it out a 6-story window, but everybody throws their cat.
Everyone's been known to throw a cat. Who hasn't? Anyway, all hell broke loose.
Oh no!
This poor guy had to come out. Here's his his apology before being thrown off the board, the commission. Mr. Platzer wrote, "We are all living in uncertain times, and I certainly, like many of you, am adjusting to a new normal. I did not conduct myself in the Zoom meeting in a manner befitting of a planning commissioner, and apologize for any harm I may have inflicted." So, and then the city comes out with this whole thing. This type of behavior does not model the core values of the city of Vallejo, or whatever the hell it is. And then PETA gets involved and said they are prepared to find the cat an understanding, loving home.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, take your hands off his cat.
That's what I'm saying. Man, I went through Smudge Lemieux the length of my living room because she had brought a bird into my living room, and it was, I was desperately trying to save the bird, which was not lethally injured, and I did. I'm screaming, yelling, freaking out, and I picked her up, and man, she didn't weigh much of anything. Boy, did she go flying.
Excuse me. When my daughter and I shared a home not a few years ago, we had both a dog and her cat. And every time I saw that cat walking on my kitchen counters or on my dining room table about to walk across a dinner plate, if you don't think I didn't pick up that cat and throw him into the hallway, you're nuts.
You could pick
Olive.
up the cat and drop it.
You don't pick up the cat and place it sweetly down on the... There are... Honest to Pete. Get a cat.
Okay, listen. We are real cat lovers.
I wouldn't throw my dog.
No, would not throw a dog. You cannot throw dogs.
A dog would splat.
Yes, but you can
Cats
throw...
don't splat.
Cats are amazing. And no, you can... This poor guy, Mr. Platzer.
Let's just write in and just kill the...
Yeah.
Really.
Platzer's...
What's his name?
I don't know. I already got rid of the... Oh, here. Chris Platzer in Vallejo. Is that how they? Maybe that's not Vallejo. Vallejo.
Vallejo, but I mean, not in any way that it's usually spelled.
It's spelled Vallejo.
Well, that would be Vallejo. Yeah, Vallejo. Yeah.
Vallejo. That's the planning commission. Anyway, he's toast. One commissioner on the video conference, after the cat thudded, could be seen covering his forehead and his eyes in response. So he was forced to resign after calls for his ouster by several city leaders, including the mayor.
Okay, this is our cancel culture again. This is
right,
just ridiculous.
Jeez, how is that? I mean, maybe the guy was a general asshole and they were just using this as the excuse to finally get rid of him. Anyway, Platzer could not be reached for, he was, keeping a low profile. His term was set to expire in June. So.
All right,
you don't have to save him, whatever. But I just found that such an extraordinary overreaction. And here's another in the same vein, okay?
Yeah.
This involves the Vatican. Apparently, the Vatican has censored a video with the Pope in it. And they've censored it because of what the Pope said. They've censored the Pope. And you want to know what he said?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Somebody gave the Pope...
They're having to shut up everybody these days.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Somebody gave...
Trump I get, but, the Pope,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Somebody... No, but this is unjust, too. Somebody gave Pope Francis a gift of a bottle of single malt whiskey.
And what did he say? Oh, wow, thanks.
Yeah, even better. He held it aloft and said, "This is the real holy water."
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Well, again, he is correct.
Jeez! Come on! If the Pope can make a joke about holy water...
Did you just get beeped out?
No.
It sounds like you were going to say the F word, and at the same time, your cheek hit your...
Oh, really? Okay, no. I did not get beeped. But the Pope, I mean, I'm a little astonished he said it. This is the real holy water, but he did.
He's a human being with a sense of humor, obviously.
God. And it said the Vatican censored the video. So you can't see it.
Screw those old men. You know,
I know.
I mean, because
nobody
they're
has
always
a sense
right.
of...
Because they always make the right decisions. We've learned that lately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody has a sense of humor anymore.
Well, I had an interesting exchange with my friend who is locked up in Canada, much like I'm locked up in Wisconsin, and she was thinking that wouldn't it be fun if Israel were the first one to the front with the vaccine, and then what would all those boycott Israel places do?
Yeah, oops.
I mean, it was just such a cheery thought to start the morning, I had to say.
Yeah, that would put people in a bit of a quandary, wouldn't it? Oh, speaking of things medical again.
Yes.
I saw yesterday, I started saying that the CDC has added new symptoms to...
and they're so old!
Well, I know, so I thought, oh no. And I said to myself, I'm not reading it. I don't want to know any other
yourself, right?
I don't want to know any other symptoms. I'll immediately get them. So forget about it. And then today in the New York Times, I see the headline, and I look. The new symptoms they've added are chills, repeated shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, and a loss of taste or smell. And I thought, the CDC?
Doesn't that make you feel really good that everything that we've accepted generally as fact forever, the CDC has just gotten onto its website?
Jeez! What does that tell you? Unbelievable. The only symptoms they had up until yesterday were fever, cough, and shortness of breath. And by the way, here's another interesting thing.
Blood clots, strokes,
the blood
in
clot
young
stuff.
people.
And yeah, but I don't even want... Here, fevers, it turns out that many people who have it don't have fevers. Or their fever waxes and wanes. So right next to this story was a picture of a worker going back to work and having his temperature taken, as if that was somehow going to safeguard anybody. It doesn't safeguard anybody.
It was always meaningless. Once we knew that people could be asymptomatic up to 2 weeks, who thinks taking your temperature means anything?
You tell me. The CDC, our great leaders. Anyway, we have a caller, apparently. And there's also some emails here about throwing cats. I've not looked at it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
our audience always picks up on the most
the heavy stuff.
Of ideas.
Yeah, but they might be coming for us. Okay, so caller.
Okay.
Hi,
ladies. Ray from Lawrenceville. How are you?
I'm good, fine. Ray. How are you?
Good. Well, we are just running around looking for things to be offended by.
Yeah, I know. Come join our cat chucking contest.
Oh, my God. And the Pope, what language did he say it in? And
I don't.
The word whiskey in Irish means water of life. Ishkabaha. I mean, but...
So you mean they might have misunderstood it? They might have misunderstood. Yes. But can you see the Pope, who, by the way, was a bartender, wasn't he, in another life? Can you see him? No. So can't just. I mean, how cute, really? But
it was a pun, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, but how dare people around him censor him?
Oh my God!
Censor a heartfelt thank you. That's all that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not allowed. We're not allowed to try to be funny. Even if you're not, you fail to be funny. If someone's trying to be funny, you have to give them a little bit of slack, unless it's an offensive, really just.
Or unless it's Donald Trump saying he was being sarcastic.
Yeah. I would challenge him to write down the definition of sarcasm and then see where we go from there.
Right.
My granddaughter, of course, is in high school and she attends Kappa, so she's at home and able to do her academics and sort of remotely do her vocal stuff. But a real impact is going to be how we handle schools after this.
Right.
We've placed so much of a burden on schools to be
everything.
Nutrition centers, daycare, wellness centers, that we've abdicated all these responsibilities and laid them on the schools. And if we can't gather the kids together, what happens to all those abdicated responsibilities? What do we do?
Yeah, we dump on schools to do things as if they're nothing more than like a social service agency, just like we dump a lot of that stuff on the cops too.
Right.
But I mean,
Neither
here's
of
the problem. But they are the only things that they can still do. They are doing. They are trying to deliver meals, at least, to the children that they used to feed. But here's what they can't do. They can't find the kid. They can't save the kids that are being abused.
No.
They can't, they can't. I mean, there's this whole hidden thing that's happening here, and you can't, that's never going to change, guys. You can wring your hands all you want, but teachers have to be mandatory reporters because they're the people that see it.
And spousal abuse. How much spousal abuse is going on?
Right, of course.
Every once in a while I'll think of the children and the spouses that are living in such terror now with no way out, and I can hardly bear it.
Yeah, there is going to be a transformation that we may or may not like, but there's definitely going to be a transformation after this.
Because there's no way back to normal for years, period.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right.
I did hear a discussion. It was just it was a theoretical, just mind kind of discussion about a thought, and the thought was that the powers that be to defend our economic system, whether it be overseas threats, have never had that much of a problem of sending young people to their deaths to defend our economic well-being.
True.
But, and I'm not defending this, but this is sort of an economic threat on the home front that we would not risk the grown-ups. They're the ones who are risking their lives, right? Not the young people. And
and we're old enough to just say no.
Yes. I'm not saying we should be sacrificed.
No. I mean, I know where you're going.
How cavalier we are about throwing young people away.
That's right. And cavalier is absolutely the right word, especially when you think about wars that were made up.
Yes. For economics, for simple
economics, oil.
Economics. Yes.
Oil.
Right.
I hear you.
Grudges in some cases, just flat out grudges.
Hey. Great to hear both of you. Keep it up. Love you both. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. All right.
Okay. So are we in trouble with the emails, dear?
A little bit.
Lynn?
A little bit. Okay. Kurt says, and he you have to know about something that happened here. There was a police officer in a small, I'm not sure which town, some little suburb of Pittsburgh, who was just reinstated by the little town council after he'd been taken off the force for I guess abusing his wife. So he was pulled off the force and then reinstated. So Kurt says this. So a guy takes more heat for tossing his cat than cops do for beating their wives? Just making a comparison.
Yeah, comparison. I agree. Yeah.
Okay. But then Lynn writes, okay, you guys made your point about throwing cats in 30 seconds. Don't go on and on about it. Knock it off. So there you have the other's reaction.
Oh, lighten up. Jeez.
Well, I can see where whatever.
Well, to me, let's not have to take this, and explain partly what we do. But sometimes my sister and I go off on a comedic riff. I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it, but why not?
Anyway, I hear you, Lynn.
One of us hears you.
Yeah, Susan, not so much. I do. So Bree, who's been letting us know about what's going on in Malaysia, where he lives, last we heard from Bree, he was saying, now my job might be in jeopardy, and now they're reinforcing these. They had sort of loosened things up, and now they're shutting things down. And the report from Malaysia is this. It seems that a pumping the brakes method is what's going to be used, like lockdown for 2 months, then open for a period with masks and distancing, and then lock down again, and repeat until it gets under control. Several sources are now saying this will be how they're going to do it here in Malaysia. And you see the people. I
don't think. Why does that make sense? Though?
I don't know why. I don't either.
Until it's done.
Because people
can't do it.
They
They're
can't
going
do
nuts.
it. I guess people are going.
Turns out people
nuts.
don't like being in jail, no matter how nice the jail is.
Yeah.
We should remember that when we talk about country club jails. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's totally true.
Right.
So. There was this. I should have let Ray know because he's such an Irishman. This was in the Irish Times.
Right there.
Did you see it? It's so right on the money, but it's so hard to read. But this is, guys, how the world does perceive us now. The headline says it all. The world has loved, hated, and envied the United States now. At the United States now, for the first time, we pity it. And man, these things go on to say the bad. It is hard not to feel sorry for Americans. Most of them did not vote for Donald Trump. Yet they are locked down with a malignant narcissist who, instead of protecting his people, has amplified the virus's lethality. The country Trump promised to make great again has never in its history seemed so pitiful. And man, it goes on and on and on. So Don't tell us anything we didn't know, but yeah.
Although then you get to, other good, just nice little bone moans. Here's a nice one. Just to clarify, the medical term for injecting disinfectants into the body is called embalming.
Yes, well, that was Pelosi said. This is what, you want to know what he's suggesting? We all embalm ourselves. Yeah. And here the Irish Times again. Usually, they go on and on and on, but they say usually when it becomes clear that the president of a country is an idiot. So it says usually when this kind of outlandish idiocy is displaying itself, there is the comforting thought that if things were really serious, it would all stop. People would sober up. Instead, a large part of America has hit the bottle even harder. And the president keeps supplying the drinks. There has been no moment of truth, no shock of realization that his antics have to end. No one of any substance on the U.S. right has stepped in to say, get a grip. People are dying here. And that is the mark of how deep the trouble is for the United States. It is not just that Trump has treated the crisis merely as a way to feed tribal hatreds, but that his behavior has become normalized. When the freak show is live on TV every evening and the star is boasting about his ratings, it's not really a freak show anymore. For a very large and solid block of Americans, it is reality. They accept it. Anyway, it ends with either way, it will be a long time before the rest of the world can even imagine America being great again. I think we have a caller. Caller, hello.
Hi, Lynn. It's Dave from Washington.
Hey, Dave.
How are you?
I'm good.
I got a bunch of things I want to say because you had a whole bunch of cool topics today. When I was in high school, I went to the senior prom or something like that, and I had a cat. And I get to this girl's house. I'm nervous as can be because, I'm just a stupid kid. And while I'm sitting there and her mom and dad are standing in front of me, she's upstairs getting ready, doing what they do, whatever the hell that is. And her little brother and her little sister are there, and they had this teeny tiny little dog. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I'm holding the dog, and I'm petting the dog, and I'm nervous, and she comes down the steps, and I forget it's a dog. I thought it's a cat, so I just dropped it.
Oh, dear.
And this poor little dog crashes to the ground.
Oh, dear.
Goes running away. Just her little brother, little sister are horrified. Mom and dad are screaming. Yeah, it was a pretty bad introduction to her family. But, and then... You're also talking about you don't know what day of the week it is?
Wait a minute. Before the emails start, were any dogs actually really injured in the course?
Oh, I don't think so. It was what?
Okay. We needed to re-inquire. Okay, go ahead.
Slam it to the ground. I just all right, see you later, cat. Oh, it's not a cat. I used to buy every week before, for the work week, I would buy 5 bananas and take one to work with me every morning. So every morning when I woke up, I knew what day of the week it was by how many bananas I had left.
Do you know how I know? This is an old person's way of knowing.
How?
By your pill container.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, there's that too. yeah. But that's only if you take them every day.
But I do. So I do. And so, oh my God, look, I'm already on Tuesday.
I got one right here.
Yeah, there. Okay.
And did you get the letter from Trump about your
No, I didn't get.
Check?
Yeah, no, I got someone else who sent it to me. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
See what's on the back of it?
What's on the back of it?
It's in Spanish. The front half. The front half is in English, and the back half is in Spanish.
How's that going to go over with his base?
I don't know, but I had to go dig it out of the garbage because you were talking about it yesterday. I listened to your show last night, and you were talking about it yesterday, and I got the letter so that it had his signature on it and just threw it away. I dug it out of the trash just to see what the hell it said, and I noticed on the back it's in Spanish. Yeah, I'm sure his people aren't very happy about that.
David.
Anyway,
yes,
thank you very much for promoting my little video.
I have to tell you, your video, I roared through it. I loved it. Susan, did you see it? What?
I don't know.
Dave did a YouTube bit on a takeoff on Dylan's subterranean homesick blues, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And where he's got the words on cards and he's like throwing them off as he.
I haven't seen it. I'll have to look at that.
Oh okay. No! Okay, I'll send it to you. It is so funny. So how I thought it was really brilliant. It's wonderful.
It took me 3 days to do that. I worked on that Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I took Tuesday off because Monday night I got like really drunk and spent Tuesday pretty much.
So who shot it? You obviously have someone there.
No. I took the little my phone. You get those little things you stick on your windshield of your car, and you can clip your phone on it.
Yeah.
I put that on a couple things and stacked it up in front of me, and then sat in front of it and had to do it like 4 or 5 different times.
How the hell did you remember all of that?
Well, that was part of the problem. I got ahead of myself. I got behind myself. I dropped them. They were out of order. If you notice, what I'm doing is I'm not really looking at the camera. I'm looking behind the camera because I had my camera plugged into my TV, so I can make sure that I'm in the frame and that, I'm holding the cards in the right place and stuff like that. I'm looking at the TV while I'm doing that.
There was only one time that you sort of give yourself away. You sort of like look at something. Like you weren't quite sure what was but the fact is you didn't. I can't believe you kept peeling those things off right on the money. It worked. So you ended up doing it in one take. You had to do it in a...
No. Well, no. It was one take, but I did it 4 or 5 times before I got that one take.
Yeah. But you have to do the whole thing in one take. I mean, granted, you might have done it 4 or 5 times in one take, but to get that right, because that's long.
You get right up to the very end, and you screw it up at the end. You do it all over again. And plus, you got a pile of these things. I got a pile of these things laying on the floor.
And you got to put them in order.
I got to pick them all up and put them all back in order, make sure they're right.
All right. Well, we better post the link on your Facebook page again.
It is. Okay. It was posted yesterday.
Yeah, I think you said you did it yesterday. I listened to your show last night.
So have you gotten any, I hope people are looking at it. I think it's delightful. I really do.
Well,
and, my brother thought it was wonderful.
Well, if I recall right, your brother's a crotchety old lawyer, isn't he?
No. To call him a lawyer is not an apt descriptor. He
teaches law.
He's a crotchety old law professor who wouldn't be able to do anything as a lawyer.
Okay, a law professor. All right. Well, hey, so I'm impressed with that. I'm happy that you like that. Okay, let's see. I've got 834 views.
Well, that's pretty damn good. And how many thumbs up? Mostly thumbs up. I couldn't do a thumbs up because I don't belong to YouTube. I wanted to do a thumbs up. So I think...
I don't know. I got a bunch. I don't know. I'm not on that page. I'm looking at I don't know. I hate looking online when I'm talking on the phone anyway.
Yeah, okay. But don't think for a minute you didn't give some people a great laugh. I howled a few times. I thought it was really smart.
Well,
good for you.
I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm sick and tired of that song. I don't ever want to hear that song again. I don't ever want to play that song again.
Yeah.
I've got like 5 different mixes of it. It's got bass guitar on it. It's got electric guitar on it. And that sounds too busy. So I just ended up doing it. And you know what the thing, this is Bob Dylan songs. The thing about Bob Dylan, he throws in extra syllables and extra beats. And I've always said Bob Dylan and Frank Zappa, once you know their songs, they are the most fun to sing because there are these offbeat rhythms and these lyrics that just go in every direction. So once you know the songs and you can sing along with them, they're the most fun to sing.
Oh, without a doubt.
Shall we tell him, Lynn, that he has just named probably 2 of my brother's 3 top favorite people ever?
Yeah.
Well, I do have something in common with the crotchety old law professor.
Yeah, really, indeed.
Good.
But it was good. It was just good to see you. I had, and we've got some more callers, by the way, so I'm going to have to show you the door.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the hype, and it's what, Tuesday, I guess. Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
All right,
okay. Thank you. Bye. Okay, we've got a lot of callers here. Caller, go ahead, please. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Hi. Jesus. Hello? Come on. Okay. Can we try another caller? Hello? For God's sake. All right. I give up. Oh, there aren't any more. Sorry, Amy. Well, where the hell are you? Okay, we got another very angry guy.
Okay, I'll behave this time. I'm sorry in advance.
George says, throwing cats is not funny. I turned your show off. There you go. You know, I got to tell you, when you get into, I know. Susan's having trouble. She's like, Susan, it's okay. It's okay.
Anybody that thinks that they aren't listening to two women that love their animals more than just about anybody could. So,
Well,
think what you like. We don't mistreat our pets.
Well, no, we don't. I'm trying to find. Oh, forget it. I
do sometimes overfeed mine.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Hang on.
But I overfed, my husband too. It's how I show love.
Yeah, well, that's you know what? That's like, I guess a lot of women have that. Cultures have that. Italians have that thing, and Jewish mothers have that thing, right?
I guess, but it's just if people that like to cook, it's my way of being creative, and then it's a pleasure to watch people enjoy it. I don't want them to eat too much of it. It's just a creative outlet.
Okay. Well, we have a caller, I think. So, hello.
Hey, good morning. Hi, Susan. Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
So, as Lynn knows, last week I did call in and started a little bit on political commentary, and then I just had to break myself off midstream because I realized I couldn't subject myself to that particular line of thought anymore. And I did riff a little bit on just some very fun and or positive YouTube videos I discovered while, basically semi-trapped inside the house these past 5 weeks. But may repeat that somewhat today. Have you seen photos of Trump at the last press conference?
No.
It's not as apparent on video, but there have been photos posted.
Yeah.
With the particular blogger asking, why doesn't anyone? And this goes back to.
Well, so what are you? What is it you're saying? What does he look like? Is it something about how he looks?
Well, yeah. First of all, he looks absurd and nearly insane. I mean, the orange pancake makeup now is just sort of randomly splattered around his face, and then he has the white powder around his eyes, and it looks gray. I mean, there's these two huge patches of gray.
No, I think. What do you think gray. I think the white is.
But his pupils are enormous. His pupils are wildly dilated when he's delivering the speech. And as you said, why is no one recognizing he is drugged at times? When he's up there speak, they have him on something.
Well, he snorts Adderall.
I don't think they have him on something.
No, he snorts.
He has himself. He snorts Adderall.
Yes,
he snorts Adderall. Yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, unless the photo's been digitally altered, tampered with, but given his affect and the slurring of the words, it just all makes sense, and no one's willing to say.
Yeah, it's something. It's something that someone doesn't. They've come as close as I guess they're willing to get. I don't know, but he is.
I mean, we all know. I mean, we all know that back in the back half of the Reagan administration, the upper echelons of the GOP knew that he was slipping into dementia. They all knew it. They all knew it. They weren't willing to say anything.
Well, I don't know. Do you think he has dementia, Susan?
I don't know that,
but he's mentally ill. I mean, he's insane.
I don't think he's insane. There's something not right, of course. I mean, we know that. We know he's, textbook narcissist. We also know that he has no ability to empathize with anybody. He has no friends.
Right, and I don't know, none of us have a right to diagnose it. I don't know that it matters. We can all, what it is, what the name of it is.
Right.
Yeah. We can see that he is dysfunctional for the purpose to which he is tasked.
Right. Yes.
And
totally.
That's really all we need to know.
Yeah. And I think the media has made that pretty clear. I mean, really. And it's only getting more so. The people around him clearly tried to pull him away from they kept him off camera for 2 days, from doing these things.
2 days.
And even, yesterday, he wasn't doing it. He was doing it. He wasn't doing it. He was doing it. I mean, it's the dysfunction of this White House is just emblematic of his total dysfunction.
Well, they can't control the source of their power, which means their power is something that they also can't control.
Yeah.
But
here's some of what happened yesterday. He was asked about his, injecting disinfectant stuff, and and he was asked by a reporter, "Are you aware that some people might, take that seriously?" And his response was, "I can't imagine why," which is odd for he's saying, what, no one listens to me? I mean, that doesn't make sense. And then asked if he took any responsibility if somebody harmed themselves doing it. He, of course, said, "No, I don't." I mean, this guy is just killing himself. He spent time talking about sleepy Joe Biden, about how he's being persecuted, how, the enemy of the people, the media, that we would have been at war with North Korea if he hadn't been president. It's insane that we're carrying this stuff, that these networks continue to carry this. Because it is the ramblings of a sick man, a soulless, sick man. Somebody just sent me. Somebody just sent me. I have to share this. It's too funny. There's a billboard. I hope more than one up in Kentucky, which is, of course, the state that Mitch McConnell is the senator of, along with that other wonderful senator.
Lucky them.
Yeah, they got Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell. Great way to vote, guys, in Kentucky. So there's a picture of Mitch McConnell and his wife, Elaine Chao. Two of them are horrible human beings on earth, and it's them smiling out at the people, and the words are, "We're rich. How you all doing?"
Well, that pretty much sums it up. I will try to point, like I said, an attempt to put some lightheartedness out there. I'll point out a couple other fun bits on YouTube, which I didn't discover. They were pointed out to me by a social media friend on one of the creative writing groups I belong to, and he is up in Toronto, but he's on also. They're in a semi-lockdown state, and it's actually something called Chap rap that apparently was popular in Great Britain and the UK a few years back. And literally, it's these rap, but done, in a very dignified, almost Victorian style of performance by rappers posing as English gentlemen. And there are a couple of them by one who styles himself Professor Elemental, and the other Mr. B, the gentleman rapper. And I mean, they're just hilarious.
Yeah. Well, God bless people for putting that out. You know what? I've got to run. I just saw what time it is, and I got a bunch of emails I've got to share.
Okay.
So gotta go. Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Bye. I want to thank Ed for sending the Kentucky billboard. This little Tony on Dave's video. Lynn, I saw that video the other day. I had no idea that it was the Dave that calls your show. It was brilliant. It has to go viral. Some influential person needs to tweet the video so it can catch on. Well, I thought I might be influential, but I guess I'm not. I'll try. I'll tweet it.
Whoa.
Okay? Did I not tweet it? I'll tweet it out there or something. If any of you are influential people,
blade out of your kneecap.
Yeah, no, he didn't. That's fine. We got to get the views up. Although 832 views, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that's a big audience you already reached. Okay, Bill. These are all people who've listened to me for years, Susan, and who I like. Ladies, cat throwing is not cool. I know that most people think that it is okay since they usually land on their feet. I have 3 cats, and I place them down. There is no scratching or kicking because they trust me. If I was one to throw them, they would always be on the defense, not knowing if it was their time to fly across the room. Oh, and it can really hurt an adult cat if you pick it up by the scruff of the neck. I don't think the guy should have lost his job. Okay. Well, okay. I never picked a cat up by the scruff of the neck. No. Okay. I mean, there's definitely, you can have... Okay, and I saw this, Tom. Tom said, did you see the furries? They canceled. We've had the furries national convention here for the last, I think it's got to be almost 10 years now, isn't it? And we so look forward to seeing them. And, they're not coming. Nobody's coming. It's just the way it is. So there have been now 36 Wisconsin voters or poll workers who have tested positive for the coronavirus since they voted. A vote that was forced on them by the Republican legislature when the state was under a lockdown. It is really amazing. So they've and who knows how many there will be, but that number's up to 36
I think they should
now.
sue the state.
Well, not the state, but can't you just sue the...
Well, no, I don't think so. That action was taken in the name of the state.
Okay.
You can, you could name Voss and the other awful person, who are heads of the House. But no, technically, I think you have to join the state.
Okay. Barbara writes about the cats. No problem here. Living with many cats, you made me laugh. I work with a group that does low-cost spay and neutering, and I have rescued many and helped many get homes and prevented many unwanted kittens. She's given us her bona fides here. And my group spayed, neutered, and treated for medical issues over 1,800 cats. Wow, last year. many cat lovers have tossed a cat. Well, thank you, Barbara. And by the way, she loved Dave's video. And Paul says, I shared his video on my Facebook page. It's a riot, and others have shared it from my posting. So it's out there, Bill, and it'll just, Dave, and it'll, who knows? Who knows? So the head of our history center, Susan, wrote a piece about George Washington and how he, as a president and as a person, valued social distancing very much. And this is in a day and age when, the life expectancy of people wasn't much, and there was all kinds of stuff flying around that you wouldn't want to get on you. So why can't I fuck this? I hate this. Okay, never mind. Bye. And he talked about how Washington had, as a rather young person, I think, made this. Why can't I get this? God damn it. Here it is. Had made this list of rules of how to be, a good person, a courteous, good person. And almost all of them have to do with keeping your distance. So some of them are, it's interesting. When in company, put not your hands to any part of the body not usually discovered. I don't know what discovered means.
It means don't scratch your crotch. Okay.
If you cough, sneeze, sigh, or yawn, do it not out loud, but privately. And speak not in your yawning, but put your handkerchief or hand before your face and turn aside. I'm sorry, I'm wheezing into the... Here, spit not into the fire, nor stoop low before it, neither put your hands into the flames to warm them, nor set your feet upon the fire, especially if there be meat before it. Can you imagine having it? You can imagine how people must have behaved. Okay, so here, this is funny. This is from our first president, ladies and gentlemen. Shake not the head, feet, or legs. Roll not the eyes. Lift not one eyebrow higher than the other. Wry, W-R-Y, wry not the mouth. And bedew no man's face with your spittle by approaching too near him when you speak.
Okay, well, I'd be in trouble with some of those.
Well, in
my mouth twists wryly frequently.
Yes, and you've been known to roll your eyes too. But here's a good one. Kill no vermin or fleas, lice, ticks, etc. in the sight of others. If you see any filth or thick spittle, oh my God, put your foot dexterously upon it. If it be upon the clothes of your companions, put it off privately. And if it be upon your own clothes, return thanks to him who puts it off. In other words, if somebody, you're supposed to be cleaning spittle from other people's, or vermin, or ticks from other people.
Right. If you see some lice on your
get it off them.
Get it off,
but in a casual way.
In a casual way.
Privately.
And if someone does such for you, don't take umbrage at their noticing.
Right. Thank them.
Yes.
And in speaking to men of quality, do not lean, nor look them full in the face, nor approach too near them. At least keep a full pace from them.
So that's about 3 feet.
Yeah. Well, Washington was very tall, so yeah, it's about 3 feet. And then this one we should send to the current president from the first president. Do not presently play the physician if you be not knowing. So, there you have it. Those are some thoughts from George Washington, ladies and gentlemen.
I know, but I sort of like the idea of our president sticking a flashlight up his butt.
Oh, God. No. No.
No, I'm sorry.
Too horrible. Here's our update. I was waiting for it. The Allegheny County Health Department. Our current count, which is, of course, absurd because we haven't tested next to anybody. In Allegheny County, 1,235 confirmed cases and 87 deaths. Okay? Just saying.
Right,
and what?
I'm just checking to see what our latest case number is. 849 confirmed cases in Brown County, where Green Bay is. That's an increase of over 200 since Friday.
Yeah, sure. It's
and 7 members of the Oneida Nation are also sick. 25 county residents hospitalized.
No deaths?
So far, it doesn't. Not in Brown County so far.
Well, you're just...
And the packing plant finally, begrudgingly, closed.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Just amazing. Somebody sent me a poem.
That's nice.
It's called Pity the Nation. Pity the nation whose people are sheep and whose shepherds mislead them. Pity the nation whose leaders are liars, whose sages are silenced, and whose bigots haunt the airwaves. As far back as Father Coughlin in the 30s. Pity the nation that raises not its voice except to praise conquerors and acclaim the bully as hero, and aims to rule the world with force and by torture. Pity the nation that knows no other language but its own, and no other culture but its own. Pity the nation whose breath is money and sleeps the sleep of the too well-fed. Pity the nation. Oh, pity the people who allow their rights to erode and their freedoms to be washed away. My country tears of the sweet land of liberty. Ew. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's uplifting.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's Lawrence Ferlinghetti. So that was not written for us now. That was written back then, I guess. So, whatever. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. Susan, did you send me something?
I did.
Oh.
I asked you to forward me a link.
Oh yeah, I'll send you Dave's thing. It's so cute. I'm gonna watch it again. I could use the laugh.
Okay, good.
And I won't tell Dave that Dave said that you sound younger than you look.
Oh, wow. That's right up there with the shopkeeper telling me that, telling my friend that her mother, meaning me, had gone next door.
Oh, God. Well,
I'm supposed to be Marilyn's mother. I'm a little upset about that.
That's unbelievable. Okay. God. Okay.
Which, of course, she told me gleefully, okay, on that note, the dog is telling me we're 9 minutes long.
Okay, yeah, we are, and we need to go. So thank you all, and share Dave's video. Let's make this thing take off. I'm not kidding. Spread it
Particularly
around.
with me.
Yes, I will right now. Not to worry. Okay, bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.